So I wanted to show off something cool that I just did inside of NotebookLM. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's a new product from Google. It was one of their labs products, and they made it available to the public. And then because they wanted to sell more Gemini, they basically called it an AI feature, and they've made it available to Google Workspace to give a bit more hoo-ha around AI features coming into Workspace. You don't need Gemini for this, but it does happen to use a large language model behind it to generate things. So it's using the Gemini technology in a roundabout way. Anyway, you can use it in a Google Workspace account, which, I mean, usually you've got to wait forever to get access to stuff in Workspace. I'm very happy about that. Or you can obviously use it with a Gmail account as well. Now, primarily, it's a research tool. And so if you're like a student or someone who's got to gather a bunch of different sources and then make sense of them, you can use it for that. But what I've been using it for just this morning is for creating content. And what I decided to do as I was working through our content triage process that I do with our creative team was we wanted to recreate a new video with a amalgamation of a number of different videos that we've done in the past. I've done a number of different videos on data privacy features inside of Google Workspace, but I've never made one big video kind of summarizing everything. And I thought, you know what, why don't I take all of the disparate sources, all the disparate videos that have kind of half answered the question and see if Notebook can bring it into one comprehensive summary. And then I can use that to develop the content. Now, the key thing that NotebookLM does is, as opposed to other large language models that will hallucinate sometimes and make stuff up, or they'll bring in general knowledge, or they'll bring in sources from Wikipedia or the internet or whatever, NotebookLM will only bring in information from sources that you feed it. So it's kind of like a closed walled garden on information, and you can query it. You can use, as you'll see, the bot experience to have a conversation with the data and have it make sense of the data, but it's only going to be using data that you feed it. So if you need to do an academic paper, obviously this would make lots of sense because you aren't in the situation where it's making things up itself, and it's going to give you citations on absolutely everything. So I'll show you what the process looks like for using it to create content, and you'll see it's pretty impressive. So I'm going to hit create new, and it's going to bring up this screen, and I'm going to start adding sources. Now, in this case, I just added all of my YouTube sources one by one. I had to paste each of the YouTube URLs, and then one by one, add each of them to my notebook. And then eventually you end up with something that looks like this, and you've got a bunch of sources here. And then it gives you the opportunity to talk to your sources. So you can see here, I can add a note if I want to manually add a note, but I chose to just ask it a question. I said, hey, just make me a YouTube video summary for this. And usually I'd go into a lot more depth. I'd say, hey, this is the format I want. I want an intro. I want this many bullets. I want this call to action. This is how I want the tone to be. This is what our audience is. But I just gave it the really simple option. And what it's done is it's combined each one of my sources. It's made sense of them. You can see here, there's obviously a summary here, but it's given me a full YouTube video. What are Australian privacy principles? Is Google compliant? Key steps that you can make for your business. G Suite Enterprise advanced option, things that Google might see about your data. And there we go. We've got a call to action, outro music and visuals. It's made all this up just from the prompts, make me a YouTube video. And then, yeah, there we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe because, of course, everyone's got to finish their video with that, right? So you've got all the information that it's amalgamated from these different video sources, which are just videos that I went and grabbed from my channel. I went to my channel, I searched for the word privacy, and I just grabbed the first 5 videos that I thought were relevant and threw them in. But the thing that I really love here is if you see these little numbers, it actually gives citation as to where it's got that information from. So it says, right, if you're a business over $3 million in revenue, the privacy laws apply, or if you're in medical services regulated by APRA. But it says here, this is citation number 5, and that is pulling from the transcript of the YouTube video that I pasted in here. So it's not hallucinating. It's not making stuff up. It's actually pulling it from the sources and the information that you give it. So that's pretty cool. Apart from being able to chat to a chatbot and have it generate text, which is what my use case was in this case, you can have a briefing document generated, and a briefing document is kind of like an executive summary of all of the information. So we've got that nicely laid out there, which is pretty cool. I can generate a study guide. Okay, here we go. So here's a study guide. It's got a quiz. So it's going to ask, oh, here we go. It's got essay questions, glossary of terms, Google Share Drives, formerly Team Drive, allows you to collaborate on shared files and folders with enhanced security controls. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, what else have we got here? And so frequently asked questions. There we go. Okay, cool. So it's pulled out from that information some of the frequently asked questions of the content that was there. And then timeline. I don't know what timeline does. Let's see what happens if I go to timeline. Detailed timeline of cast and characters. Okay, well, I guess that's trying to create a sequence of events, which might be more appropriate for different styles of content. But you can see here, it's tried to put time alongside things. So when I've spoken about something in the past, it's given it a time there. It said, specific video talks about the introduction of G Suite Enterprise. Throughout all sources, there's the promotion of itGenius services. Well, that's obvious. Cast of characters, Peter Moriarty. Keenan, okay, it sounds like that must have been a customer question that I answered there. Old school IT guys. Oh, they're a character in our cast. So there we go. That's pretty cool. It's given us some notes now. Now, by far the most amazing thing of this app, and this is the one that got quite a bit of attention when it was first released, is you can generate what it calls a deep dive conversation. And the deep dive conversation is effectively, it's like a virtual podcast. You're listening to two generated characters have a conversation about the content, which is wild. It's honestly absolutely wild. And so this is generating from the knowledge, from all the information, a digestible conversation in audio that you can just listen to. Now, I'm not much of a listen to audio person because I find it takes a long time. I'd rather skim bullet points. But this is pretty darn impressive. I don't know how long it's going to take to generate, but hopefully it's reasonably quick. We'll just wait I'm not sure if you're even going to be able to hear the audio from this, so I'm going to let it do its thing in the background. But this is an absolutely amazing feature. Great if you're looking to work on content and you don't want external sources to come in. Great if you've got a couple of pieces of content here and you want them to be transformed and transposed, but also have citations back to the original content because it's something that's really important for this. I'm talking about legal issues. I'm talking about potential, features in Google Workspace that customers might ask us about. So I want to get these exactly right. I don't want there to be room for, interpretation or room for potentially getting things wrong. And I don't want my language model to hallucinate and just blatantly make stuff up. So there you go. That's NotebookLM. It's free. You can head to notebooklm.google.com and check it out.
If you liked this video, we've got plenty more on the channel covering this topic and much, much more.